Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, our fifth preparatory classes or our fifth preparatory students. Our subject today, three subjects. We have three subjects: obligation or necessity, prohibition of prevention, lack of obligation or non-necessity. The first subject of these three subjects which are conjected, there is a conjunction of them, of the three subjects: obligation, necessity, prohibition, prevention, lack of obligation and unnecessity. The form of obligation or necessity: الإلزام أو الضرورة. صيغة الإلزام أو الضرورة أخوان: subject plus must or have to or need to. These three models mean يجب in Arabic. هاي المودلز الثلاثة معناها، هاي أفعال ناقصة ثلاثة أخوان، معناها يجب باللغة العربية. These three models mean يجب. And it must be followed by base verb. يجب أن تتبع بفعل مجرد. We know every model have to followed by base verb, must followed by base verb. يجب أن يتبع بفعل مجرد and complement. The forms of examination, صيغ الامتحان of this subject, obligation or necessity. The first form is oblige your friend to obey the speed limit. Oblige your friend to obey the speed limit. ألزم صديقك أن يطيع محدد السرعة أو السرعة المحددة اللي موجودة في الطرقات أو في الشوارع. How to make obligation. We know this subject is obligation by this order. Oblige. بواسطة هذا الأمر. Oblige. This is an order sentence. هذه جملة أمرية. Oblige. ألزم. How to make obligation. Okay. Subject. We use subject you. If there is no subject, إذا ماكو subject بالجملة نستخدم you. When we make a subject, a sentence, our subject is you. You. Must, have to, need to. The stronger is must. Must. Must is the stronger model. هو الفعل الناقص الأقوى. إذن must. And where is the sentence of obligation? The sentence of obligation is after the first two in the original sentence. جملة الإلزام هي بعد أول two, the first two in the original sentence. بعد أول two في الجملة الأصلية. In the question sentence, in the original sentence, في الجملة الأصلية أو في جملة السؤال. This is obligation sentence أو جملة الإلزام. هذه جملة الإلزام. Okay. And after we use you and must of have or have to or need to. Okay, you must or have to or need to. I used must. I chose must. Okay, I chose must. Sorry. You must obey the speed limit. تنزل جملة الإلزام as it is كما هي. Obey the speed limit. Okay, that's the all. ذلك كل شيء. Okay. The second form of a question: drive carefully. This is a question. Drive carefully. Order a question. Drive carefully. Obligation, إلزام, or necessity, ضرورة. How to make obligation or necessity? Okay, in the same form. Subject, you. From you, the subject, you. Must or have to or need to, we can use have to. You have to. And this sentence as it is followed by have to or must or need to. Okay, the model. Drive carefully. You have to or must or need to drive carefully. That's the all. Okay. This is the obligation form. This is the sentence of a question. جمل السؤال, and this is the answers. The answers, this is Okay. The second subject is prohibition or prevention. المنع. المنع. This is obligation. الإلزام أو الضرورة. Necessity. This is المنع, prohibition or prevention. The rule or the form of this subject is subject of this subject is subject mustn't. Okay, we use this must and negate it when استخدمنا must and negate ونفينا and negated it وحولناها إلى حال change it into negative form وحولناها إلى حالة النفي and it became subject plus mustn't. يجب أن لا in Arabic. يجب أن لا. يجب أن لا. And base verb plus complement. Okay. The forms of a question, صيغ الأسئلة. Prevent. This order. Prevent. This is an order. هذا أمر. Prevent your friend from exceeding the speed limit. امنع صديقك من تجاوز محدد السرعة. Where is the sentence of prohibition or of prevention? This sentence after the first from. بعد أول preposition. After the first preposition from. This sentence after the first preposition after the first infinitive to. And this sentence after the first preposition from. And without ing. هذه جملة. This is the sentence of the prohibition or جملة المنع. Without ing. Because mustn't have to be followed by base verb without any ending. بدون أي إضافة لازم. So you, as we said, you. Our subject is you when there is no subject in the sentence. But if there is a subject in the original sentence, we make the sentence as the subject as it is. Okay, you stay it as it is. Okay, you mustn't. And this is the sentence of the prohibition or prevention. Exceed the speed limits. The speed limit. Okay, this is the sentence. The answer. Prevent your friend from exceeding. Okay, when we choose the sentence after the preposition from without ing, we need to delete any ending. أي إضافة نحذفها إخوان and use it after the modal mustn't. You mustn't exceed the speed limit. Okay, this is the first form of prohibition or prevention. The second form of prohibition or prevention is don't lie while, as like this sentence. Don't lie while you are eating or drinking. لا تضطجع, لا تستلقي بينما أنت تأكل أو تشرب. Okay. Prohibition or prevention or make prohibition or make prevention. Okay, as we did in the first sentence, you mustn't. And where is the sentence of prohibition or prevention which follows the mustn't, the modal mustn't? Okay, this sentence of prevention. The same sentence. You mustn't without don't. Without don't. You mustn't lie while you are eating or reading. Okay, students? Okay, students. The third subject is lack of obligation. عدم الإلزام in Arabic. عدم الإلزام أو فقدان الإلزام أو اللا ضرورة. In Arabic we called this subject بالعربية نسمي هذا الموضوع لا داعي. لا داعي. Lack of obligation or non-necessity in Arabic. لا داعي. يعني not obligation, it's not obligation and it's not prohibition or prevention. يعني لا هو إلزام ولا هو منع. يعني ماكو ضرورة، مو داعي، ما حاجة إحنا بالعربية نسميه. What's the rule of this subject is subject plus don't or doesn't. Why doesn't? When the subject is single and absent مفرد وغائب, okay, use does. He, she, with he, she, it, use does. And with I, you, we, they, use do. Okay, subject don't or doesn't plus have to. Don't have to or doesn't have to. Or needn't. The negative form of have to. Okay, I said before, must, mustn't. When I change my place from obligation to prohibition or prevention, I made must, I changed must into mustn't. When I go to lack of obligation or non-necessity, I changed have to into don't have to or doesn't have to. And I changed need to into needn't. So I said at the beginning of the sentence, these three subjects are related, مرتبطة هذه, or conjuncted by meaningly, يعني مرتبطة معنويا. The car is full of petrol. السيارة مليئة بالوقود. You must. This subject came as multiple choices, only multiple choices, just multiple choices. The car is full of petrol. You must, mustn't, or don't have to go to the petrol station. سيارة مليانة وقود. يعني أنت شو تقول له؟ تقول له أنت يجب you must, you mustn't ضعيفة. أنت يجب ألا تذهب. يعني ما راح يصير شيء إذا هو يذهب لمحطة الوقود. لكن the best expression, التعبير الأفضل, you don't have to. أنت لا داعي. يعني lack of non-necessity, لا ضرورة أن go to the petrol station. Okay, the answer here is don't have to. Okay. There is multiple choices among obligation, prohibition, and lack of obligation, because these three subjects are related, as I said, are related meaningly. We must, mustn't, needn't smoke in the hospital. According to the meaning from English to Arabic, أنت يجب ألا لو لا داعي أن تدخن في المستشفى. This is an obligation. This is a prohibition or a prevention. You mustn't. أنت يجب ألا تدخن في المستشفى. You mustn't smoke in the hospital. Okay, you must, mustn't, or needn't. Be careful when you climb the heights. أنت يجب ألا لا داعي أن تكن حذراً عندما تتسلق المرتفعات. Okay, this refers to obligation. You must be careful. أنت يجب أن تكن حذراً. Okay, the third sentence, the third exercise. Dana went to the market yesterday. In Arabic, Dana ذهبت إلى السوق البارحة. Suha must mustn't يجب ألا, or don't have to لا داعي أن تذهب اليوم. Don't have to is the best expression. Okay, students? Okay, up till now I have finished the subject. Okay, see you later inshallah on the next lecture, dear students. إلى هنا ينتهي درسنا، على أمل اللقاء بكم في دروس أخرى إن شاء الله. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.